Here we are trying to set up for processing chickens, and she's out there playing around in the garden over there. Yep.
Alright guys, this is our first time processing the meat birds, broilers, and we got everything set up and we're getting ready to process. We have taken away their food about 24 hours ago and just given them water for the last 18 to 24 hours. So they're ready, they're big, and just follow along on our journey. Yeah, understatement. We have watched a lot of, I've watched a neighbor process live. We've watched a lot of videos learning how to do this.
This is a monumental moment for us. This is the first year at Wild Hearts Farm. If you guys have been following along, you know we got these birds about 11, 12 weeks ago. We've been taking care of them. We just built a chicken tractor just for them. You know, they've been here, they've lived a wonderful life out on the pasture, fresh grass every day to munch on, and all the little bugs and stuff. So they're happy, but this is their purpose, right? This is what they're here for. They're here to feed us, and you know, it's we're happy about that.
Yeah. Yeah. Super emotional. Obviously, I'm starting to cry, but we're thankful that God blessed us with the land that we have and the ability to be able to raise these chickens as humanely as possible. They don't just spend time in here, they've been out with our other chickens, roaming around, living a great life. I mean, we've fed them organic food, we have treated them so well, just like our other chickens, and we've given them a really good life. So it's emotional because you're taking something's life, but this is the purpose of them, and we're just thankful, and we're gonna pray over them, of course, before we decide to dispatch them. And it's emotional, like I said, but we'll get through it, and we'll have fresh organic chicken in the freezer. And this is our first time, so obviously it's gonna be harder than the next time or the next time after that. And you know, I did watch our neighbor process their birds, and I didn't get emotional, but they weren't our chickens. We didn't raise them. So it's different when you raise an animal. You have a new respect and a connection with that, and I think that's really important for people to understand. Like, your food comes from a live animal that someone raised and cared for and took the time to feed and water and nurture, and that's what we want to do, is bring back just at least knowing where your food comes from and having a connection in some type to your food, even if it's just growing your food in a garden and growing your vegetables or raising chickens for eggs. This is different, and a lot of people are not going to be able to do this and live this kind of lifestyle, and we understand that, but just knowing where your food comes from and really appreciating that animal was sacrificed for you to be able to eat. So like I said, we're thankful for God, and I'm thankful for my husband for building the chicken tractor, getting everything together. We've got the plucker, we've got the water, we've got the bags, we've got everything ready, the ice. So we'll show you a little bit of the process once we get a little comfortable and get a couple birds down. We'll show you the process, and we'll show you our setup as well. So
awesome. Here we go. All right, y'all, so wanted to show you all our setup. So we did invest in a couple things here. The hugging cones or killing cones, and this is what you use to dispatch the birds. Just built a real quick frame on there and just attached it to the post here. Moved the tractor out, so we're actually underneath our overhang where we usually keep our tractor, just, you know, for shade or if it rained or something. We also invested in the chicken plucker. So this is a yard bird chicken plucker. This can do up to 2 birds, and has its own attached water source. So we have the splitter here. A lot of water out here just to keep things clean, which we heard was really useful. We've got our scalder here as well. I have it up to about 150 degrees right now, 155 degrees. And this is used to scald the chicken after you dispatch it, get those feathers loose, and then plop it into the plucker. And then just our table here where you do sort of the gutting and cleaning and finishing up. Again, we got our water source right here. Just like always, clean stuff up. You want to have a nice clean area. So really sharp knives are very necessary, and we have a few of those here. So we're gonna go through this first time ever. So really excited about it, right? And but I have to admit a little nervous because this is our first time. But again, great resources out there that we've been looking at. Heather had the chance to go see this already done in person, so feels pretty good about it as well. Here we go.
Alright guys, so we are a little more than halfway through the process. We just processed 6 birds. This is bird 7 and 8. And the process so far that we've done that's worked for us is I go get the bird, put it in the cone. Well, we weigh it first, then put it in the cone. Dave dispatches it, and then I walk away for that part because I'm not good with that yet. And then what I do is then lift the bird from the cone. Then I'm putting it in the scalder. We're making sure this is around 150 to 155. And I have a big wooden spoon here. I'm just keeping it down in there. We're keeping it in here for about a minute just to make sure that the feathers come off. And what we learned from a lot of videos and our neighbors was just take at a minute or maybe 45 seconds depending on the temperature of your water. Take a little bit of the foot of the skin, and if that peels off right there, then you know it's about ready. So alright guys, I'm gonna check the foot to see how if it's done yet, the skin. So if you pull back on the skin, and you can see that's not quite done yet. Well, it's almost there. I'm gonna stick it in for another probably 15 seconds. And then I'm gonna pull that skin again. Once you see that that skin loosens up right around its toe or its foot, you sort of know that it's ready at that point to go into the plucker.
The plucker.
So let's try again. All right. Oh, there we go. See how that just released from there? That's how you know it's ready. All right, so you want to make sure you have your plucker on before you put your bird in here. Guard bird plucker. Take your bird out of the scalder. Go ahead and stick it down in there. Make sure it's not getting stuck. It only takes about 15 seconds. Guys, so let this bad boy out. Hold on 1 second. Let me turn off the water. Alright. So plucked really well. We're going to cut this off anyhow, the tail part. So that's a pretty well plucked bird. And probably how many ever seconds that was, 15, 20 seconds. So then we're going to take it over to the table and we're going to butcher it.
So I'm going to you make a little bit of an incision here up towards the neck. And then just kind of with your fingers separate it right here. And what you're looking for is really the windpipe. And then of course the crop, which is all in here. Some good fat, obviously, which is awesome. Cutting right out. You see there's a windpipe. I just like to pull that right out. We have our gut bucket over here. And then if you kind of feel around down in here, use your fingers to separate it. And just get around all the skin around this neck. We're gonna remove the necks. We don't like the necks. So we're gonna remove that and slowly pull out. You see it's kind of slimy, but you gotta pull the stuff out. You want to pull, not cut. That's always kind of like the best way to do it. Make sure it's really cleared out up in here. And then go ahead and remove the neck. And it's kind of tough, but make an incision here, but you can kind of snap it. There you go. There's the neck. We'll actually save the neck. And we'll use it for the animals.
Yeah.
We'll eat it.
We're going to cook them and give them to the chickens.
Yep. And then I might just clean up a little bit around here. And then you move on to the legs and the back.
So we're going to go ahead and cut the feet off. I'm going to use the feet to do some bone broth. So you want to feel where that knuckle is? Do a little cut right there. And go ahead and crack it off, and then you can cut the rest once you sort of snap that. Sometimes you got to do it a couple of times though. It doesn't always get.
Alright.
we're saving those. So we got the feed off, and now we're gonna work on this little area down here to pull the innards out. So you wanna make a cut and you wanna go away from you, but you also wanna be very careful to not nick any of the stuff on the inside. So you wanna get a little bit of a hole started. I can feel where I've got the hole. Then you wanna sort of tear open the innards. And y'all, I never thought I'd be able to do this. I couldn't even hardly touch chicken to cook it. So just so you know, it's not like normal or natural for me to be able to do this. But
you can do it, anybody can.
Yeah, anybody can do this. So you got to reach around. You can almost feel when you're in there where it's all attached. Like there's little ligaments attaching a lot of the innards. So when you're feeling around in there, you can kind of feel everything. So you want to get your hands around and just detach a lot of those. You'll hear too when it's almost like a suction, when it kind of becomes unattached, when everything becomes unattached. Sometimes it's harder than others though. Like some have been easy to pull out. Others have been like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm just like pulling so hard. And sometimes I get my hands in the top too, just to see if there's anything I'm missing that's still attached on the top.
There it is.
And you gotta pull. I mean, it's not like easy, but it's not incredibly hard either. You just have to pull. Okay, and then, it's the first time I've done this, guys. So I learned really quickly though, like what's what. Okay, so this right here, we're gonna save. Right, babe?
Yep. It's a liver.
This is the liver. This is the heart. So we have little buckets for everything right now. All right. Because the liver we'll probably feed to our dog. The hearts we're actually gonna eat because I heard it's really good. And then, so this is what you have to be careful of. Look at all that fat, you guys. That's amazing. Like that it has that much fat. So what you have to be really careful of, and Dave will cut this because he's better at it, is this. Do not burst this open. That is, what's it called? The gallbladder? What is that?
Yeah.
Anyhow, just be careful. Don't cut.
It's the gross stuff.
Yeah, because that'll get the bile and whatever in there. So, all right, Dave, you're up next. All right, Dave took over. He's gonna cut the rest.
Yeah, so you can see I've got everything detached except right here for the basically the anus. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna make 2 V incisions coming down. And there's this little weird like tail right here that I'm gonna actually cut out as well. Right, yeah, there's a really good fat in here, but it's just.
Look at all that fat.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not something that.
I think we fed him a little too much, babe.
So you come all the way down here. And that's, gosh, that's great fat in there.
Yeah.
Fat is flavor, you know. And then you can see where this little tail is.
The tail off.
And I will cut that right off. No longer shaking his tail feathers.
Boy. You can tell we've been doing this for too long, right? It's only bird number 7. Imagine having like more than 12.
There you go.
Right,
that's
so
all.
We'll just throw that all in our slot
That's
bucket.
it. That's all going in there. Yeah.
So,
pretty disgusting. And
yeah,
then
we'll rinse it off really well, of course.
The last thing left in here are the lungs, though. And we've got this really cool tool. So the lungs are really up in the ribs here. If you think about a bird like a chicken's ribs, yeah, the anatomy. So this is a great tool here that you just.
That from Yardbird with our plucker.
Yeah.
So.
That you just scrape out. There's one lung.
There's one. They don't come out very easily. They don't come out with everything else.
Yeah, they're really hard to get out.
Everything else comes out pretty much in one big chunk.
There's the other one. So those are the lungs.
There we go.
And then we'll just go ahead and
we'll rinse it off really well.
Sorry, babe.
Not a camera person, preferably. Alright.
There you go, and then it's into the cooler, and then on to the next one.
Nice, yep. All right, guys, we didn't get to show you the very end of the chicken processing because it was dark by the time we got done. It was a long day of processing, and just once again, if we can do this, you guys, anybody can do it. If I can reach my hand in there and clean out the chicken and do all the things, then you can definitely do it too, because I didn't know that I could. But we want to show you our 85 pounds of chicken that we processed. So look at these guys. I mean, that is pasture raised, organic fed. This is gonna be such nourishment for our family. And we did decide to keep them whole because cooking them with the bones and with the skin is the whole, you're getting all those nutrients, and also we're gonna be able to use the bones for bone broth as well. So we have all this to fill our freezer, and it's just really, it really is a fulfilling thing to be able to process your own food and to be able to be a little more self-sufficient and to know exactly where your food is coming from, and that it's whole, that it's organic, and that it's pasture raised. And definitely check the organic standards that have just come out, because Joel Salatin is at Heartway Farm is a great resource. He's got a great podcast called Beyond Labels, and he talks about the standards for raising organic chicken, organic eggs, pasture raised, what that means now. And it's not really pasture raised, folks. Like, it is, they're basically contained for a long period of their lives, and they don't live that long. So, I mean, we really need to think about our food, and it's medicine for our bodies. So it's just so important that we nourish our bodies with healthy organic foods. All right, guys, we're going to put some of the channels that we use to help us when we were learning how to process the chickens, because like we said, this is our first time. We did not know what we were doing, so we had to watch a lot of videos to learn what we were doing. So just like you may not have ever done this. We never did it, and we're going to put those accounts and those channels below. Just check them out, and guys, make sure you subscribe as well to our channel.